We are almost at the end of our factoring series. Today we're going to cover our last method, guess and check using the crisscross method. Let's begin. All right, so while we're doing this new method, of course, you're going to need to know how to find your GCF and to multiply polynomials using the FOIL method, and of course, add and subtract polynomials. Let's suppose we FOIL this expression, 4y plus 3 times 5y plus 2. Getting 20y squared plus 23y minus 6. Now, let's look at this a slightly different way. I'm going to align my polynomials vertically, and then I'm going to think about first, outer, inner, and then last. Okay, so to find our inner and outer terms, our linear term, we crisscrossed across our binomials. And we can use this structure when we need to factor non-perfect square trinomials. It's basically a way to kind of collect our information for guess and check. The key is to find the right terms for all four corners, and that can be really challenging. So the way that we choose factors is to think about what we know about multiplying positive and negative integers. We know that in standard form, after a trinomial is expanded, my second sign tells me the sign of my factors. If it's positive, both factors have the same sign. Okay? If it's negative, then both factors have different signs. Now, the sign of the middle term is going to tell you a little bit of information, but it really is a guess and check method, so don't be alarmed if you don't get it right the first time, okay? Factor 14x squared plus 13x plus 3. Okay, so first, no GCF. It's in the right form. I'm going to list my factors. 14x squared has x 14x and 2x 7x. The factors of 3 are 1 and 3, same sign, both positive. I have 1 and 3. Well, this actually means this is going to be probably a pretty easy problem. Since 1x and 14x will make my numbers really large for the middle term, I'm going to go with 2x and 7x. And then I only have 1 and 3, and I want my terms to sum to 13x, so I'm going to put 1 and 3 in that order because I'm going to multiply across my diagonal. 7x times 1 is 7x, 3 times 2x is 6x, adding those together, 13x, and my middle term matches. So I can grab both of those terms and put them in my binomial. Now we have negative 8k squared plus 6k plus 9. Now, no GCF, standard form is fine. My factors, I have a negative 8k, so I have 4 factors with different signs. My second sign tells me that I have the same sign, and they're both going to be positive for my factors of 9. So that's 1 and 9, and 3 and 3. Now, this is a guess, okay? I'm just going to try 4k and negative 2k, and 3 and 3. I multiply across my diagonal, and I add, and I got lucky. But if I didn't, I would just have to keep trying, okay? Put my answer in factored form, et voila. Let's try another one. 18z squared plus 19z minus 12. Okay, check for GCF, standard form, listing my factors. 18z has quite a few factors, z squared, and then I have a negative sign by my 12, so I have different signs, and 12 has, the 12 has quite a few factors, so I'm going to list them out in pairs of negative and positive. So where do I start? I'm going to take a guess and use 2z and 9z as my first terms and 6 and negative 2 as my second terms. And I multiply across 54z, negative 2z, negative 4z. Right away, my numbers are way too big. And I know that if I switch the 6 and the negative 2, I'm not going to get a positive linear term. So I'm going to try 2 different numbers. Okay, I'm going to try 3 and negative 4. Think this is going to be a winner. 27, 19z, excellent. So my linear term matches, and I can grab 2z plus 3 and 9z minus 4. So it's guessing, okay? So sometimes you get it wrong. You just keep trying. Use your logic. Okay, example 5, 7b squared minus 17ab plus 6a squared. No GCF, great form, listing my factors. 7b squared is easy, b and 7b. Now I have the same sign for my second, but the signs are both negative. So I have negative 2a and negative 3a, and negative a and negative 6a. Okay? Guessing, throwing some terms out there. Let's multiply. And we're good. Okay? Dropping my terms in, I'm all set. This was our final lesson on factoring non-perfect square trinomials. Up next, it's time to review all of our strategies and create some guidelines on how to use them. Which method is best is our next video.